Hey, and welcome to Thrive, building healthy relationships for lasting success. We want you to have a strong, healthy relationship. And so today, we are going to turn to the research of Dr. John Gottman, Professor Emeritus from the University of Washington, who studied what makes for a healthy relationship for over 4 decades. And one of the things that he discovered is what he termed turn toward bids.
So you have masters of relationship that are actually going to turn towards one another 86% of the time. But then you also have disaster relationships that only turn towards each other 33% of the time.
And usually the disasters of relationships end up in divorce. So this is something that you can do immediately. This is something that you can do today that will, over time, dramatically change the course of your relationship.
And if you don't, it can actually lead to the demise of your relationship.
Turn toward bids. In other words, it's letting your significant other, letting your spouse know that he or she is valued during the grind of everyday life. See, relationships, they grow out of the little things of life. You know, the movies, they always portray these big, fancy, getaway vacations or, these romantic moments. No. It's the little things of life that make a difference. For instance, if Suzanne was in the back of the house and she said, I wonder if we need to buy bleach at the grocery store. And I said, let me check. And I get up and check. That is a turn toward bid. If you simply speak words of encouragement or write it on a sticky note or send a text, that is a turn toward bid. It's making the choice to turn toward each other. And we're not talking physically, we're talking emotionally. We're talking, if Suzanne were reading an article, and this just happened this morning, I was listening to a podcast and Suzanne saw that Jerry Springer passed away. So she called out, did you know that Jerry Springer? And I turned off the podcast in order to listen to Suzanne. That is turning toward her.
So a bid is going to be any attempt from one partner to another for their attention, their affection, their affirmation, or any other positive connection. And in general, women are going to make more bids than men. But in the healthiest relationships, both partners are comfortable making all kinds of bids.
And so here's some examples of some turn toward bids, right? It's paying attention to what the other person says. For instance, if we're both sitting here and we're working on the computer and Suzanne were to say, hey, did you see that squirrel? Okay, and I take a look out the window to see the squirrel, that is a turn toward bid. If I just kept my face on my computer, I'm ignoring her bid. Right?
Or respond to simple requests of, hey, Paul, can you take Harley out for a walk? Or while you're in the kitchen, do you mind bringing me more salsa?
Or showing interest or active excitement in some type of accomplishment. It could be as simple as saying like, hey, dinner tonight was fantastic. Thank you for cooking.
Or just even, how was your day today? Or how did that tough meeting go that you were worried about?
Yep. Responding to a joke or even just showing affection. Affection can be a back scratch at the end of the day.
Those are my favorite.
Yes. So when you turn towards the other person, here are some of the benefits, right? It builds trust. It increases emotional connection. It builds romance and increases passion. And are you ready for this? It leads to a more satisfying sex life. So turn toward bids also increase what John Gottman coined as the emotional bank account.
And turn toward is going to be like money in a bank account. It's going to serve as a cushion during those rough times.
Yep. And every couple has rough times. Every couple has the highs and the lows. So it is extremely important that you learn to recognize those turn toward bids and that you commit to making them to one another. So most often, research tells us that most often when we ignore each other's needs, emotional needs, it's out of mindlessness, not out of malice. In other words, we just don't recognize it. We just don't hear it.
And we may need to put the word bid as part of our conversation and perhaps name the bid towards one another of, hey, Paul, I'm making a bid towards you.
Yeah, I need some attention or I need some whatever. So we want to challenge you, consciously make the effort to recognize and to turn toward each other. If you do, it's going to pay off in the long run. You have a great day and God bless.